Hey, good evening, dear students. Can you hear me? Okay. Um, as you know, today is the um chapter 8, but ironically, we have chapter 7 over there. As you remember, we had complementary chapter to chapter 5. So basically, today will be the 8th session of our class. We have 2 more sessions to go. As you know, today is the deadline for assignment submission. I expect all of the groups to send their group assignment through their leader, my Gmail Yahoo email, as I told you before, not Yahoo email. We'll be able to have for sure the email reaching me. As I told you before, failure in submitting the assignment by this week will cost you 25% of the assignment mark, which is the 25% of the whole basically semester mark. I have received some. I just went through some, but I didn't thoroughly check everything. So make sure that your assignment has been sent. There will be an acknowledgement note from my side immediately after you submit your assignment, and immediately after finishing semester, I will be able to finalize the whole marks, and hopefully this semester, like previous semester, you will have your marks immediately passed to you by science. So let's start the class. Today we are going to talk about more theoretical things. Organizing production will be our chapter title. Okay, Mr. Muhammad Asif, you can send it right after class. After you send it by today, we're fine. After studying this chapter, you will be able to explain what a firm is and describe the economic problems that all firms face, distinguish between technological efficiency and economic efficiency, define and explain the principal agent problem, and describe how different types of business organizations cope with these problems. Last two objectives will be describe and distinguish between different types of markets in which firms operate, and why markets coordinate some economic activities and firms coordinate others. So we start the whole thing by spinning the web. Tim Berners-Lee's idea, the World Wide Web, has provided a platform for the creation of thousands of profitable businesses, from tiny owner-operated firms to giant multinationals. We know nowadays the business economy and new economy actually put every company online, and this chapter explains the role of firms and the problems that all firms face. So, the firm and its economic problem. A firm is an institution that hires factors of production and organizes them to produce and sell goods and services. This is a very basic explanation of a firm. So the firm's goal, a firm goal, is to maximize profit. This is one of the main bottom lines of any businesses. So each company has to reach profitability as one of the basic goals. If the firm fails to maximize profit, it is either eliminated or bought out by other firms seeking to maximize profit. So as you can see, if you won't be able to deliver your main profitability goal, you will be out of the market, or you're going to be taken over by other companies to be able to do this maximization of profit. That is the basic goal, and if it goes wrong, as you can see, that will be a basic problem for any company. Measuring a firm's profit. How we can measure actually this profit that you're talking about? Accountants measure the firm profit using rules laid down by the Internal Revenue Service and the Financial Accounting Standards Board. The goal is to report profit so that the firm pays the correct amount of tax and is open and honest about its financial situation with its bank and other lenders. Economists measure profit based on an opportunity cost measure of cost. As you can see, there are some standard set of rules and regulations, but based on them, accountants usually will be able to financially assess any organization and find out whether they are profitable or not. So definitely there has to be an auditing system to be able to make sure that no company actually deviates and try to fake the information, because these informations are going to be the information that all of the stakeholders need to be able to judge the company, whether they're going to be buyers or customers or suppliers or any other companies. The best way of judging any company will be their financial accounts and looking at them and seeing whether how they're doing is exactly based on the standard and above the standards or maybe lower than the standards and things like that. So, opportunity cost, what is that? A firm's decision responds to opportunity cost and economic profit. This opportunity cost will be a firm's opportunity cost of producing a good is the best foregone alternative use of its factors of production, usually measured in dollars. Opportunity cost includes both explicit cost and implicit. You see, there are some costs, part of opportunity cost, that actually a firm's decision responds to opportunity cost and economic profit, and this may be intrinsic or explicit. Let's go and see what is explicit cost and what is implicit cost. Explicit costs are costs paid directly in money. So the money that you can see directly paid and can be seen and can be felt, that is the explicit cost of any business. But what is implicit cost? Implicit costs are costs incurred when a firm uses its own capital or its owner's time for which it does not make it direct money payments. You see? So that will be this type of cost that actually is like owner's time or capital of the company and things like that, that they are not going to be translated to direct money payments. They are implicit costs, but actually they are part of the opportunity cost, and the firm can rent capital and pay an explicit rental cost reflecting the opportunity cost of using the capital, or the firm can also buy capital and incur an implicit opportunity cost of using its own capital, called the implicit rental rate of capital. Very simple. Just imagine you can rent a house or rent a place for your business, so that is an explicit cost because you're paying for rental, or you may have a place and using it for your business. So that actually capital that you're using for your business, that would be implicit cost. You're not directly paying for that because it's yours, but actually it's part of your opportunity cost because you're using your capital for this. You could use your capital for anything else. So that is the reason why we call it implicit cost. So the implicit rental rate of capital is made of economic depreciation and interest foregone. You see, economic depreciation is the change in the market value of capital over a given period. Whatever you have now and in the future, if there is no inflation or there is no other appreciation, because you're using it, actually it's going to depreciate. Just imagine machineries. If you have machineries as part of your capital and you use them and you don't pay them, you don't rent them, actually it's your implicit cost, which is because machineries as they're used, they are depreciated. It means that you will have this implicit rent cost that comes from economic depreciation. On the other side, anything that you have as capital could be rented out or could be used for other purposes, and there was an interest inside, inherently there. And because you're using it for your own purpose, then that interest foregone is that money that you could reach out of your capital. For example, you could rent your machineries to other companies to do their production. So for that, you could receive some money. But because you're using it by yourself, that interest will be foregone. So as you can see, why we call it implicit cost, because it's not directly seen or cannot be seen in cash payment or payment, and is actually something indirectly there, but actually is there. It actually exists. So the example that I just told you, it can be another example. For example, you have a car. You have a car which is your part of your capital. If you use it for the company purposes, over the time definitely you're going to have economic differentiation because car is going to be used and definitely the price will go down. On the other side, you could give this car, use it for other purposes, or lend it to other people to use it, or get some refund out of that. You don't get that because simply you're using it for your own business. So that's why it's part of the implicit cost. So the firm and its economic problem, the cost of the owner's resources is his or her entrepreneurial ability and labor expended in running a business. The opportunity cost of the owner's entrepreneurial ability is the average return from the contribution that can be expected from running another firm. This return is called a normal profit. The opportunity cost of the owner's labor spent running the business is the wage income foregone by not giving and not working in the next best alternative job. So you can see even you will have this implicit cost of you yourself working for yourself and not for others and getting the money out of that. Okay? And the fact that you're going to have this owner's entrepreneurial ability, that will be the average return from the contribution that can be expected from running another firm, and it's inside your own company, will be a normal profit that you could gain. So let's go further and talk about economic profit. What is economic profit? Economic profit equals a firm's total revenue minus its opportunity cost of production. A firm's opportunity of cost of production is the sum of the explicit cost and implicit cost. So when you're talking about cost, from now on, you have to put these two together, implicit and explicit. And on the other side, total revenue will be the total revenue which is coming out of this certain business that you're doing. So economic profit that you will have will be the total revenue you will have minus this opportunity cost of the production. Opportunity cost, I just told you, will be explicit and implicit cost that we just explained. Normal profit is part of the firm's opportunity cost. So economic profit is profit over and above normal profit. So economic profit, as you can see here, is basically above normal profit. Normal profit is part of your definitely profit that you gain, which is total revenue minus total cost. But part of that is normal profit that we just explained in the previous page. Table 9.1 on page this that you don't have it is going to show this economic concept. So let's talk about now economic accounting, a summary of that here to be able to see how these different figures and so on help us to judge a company economically and investigate problems. To maximize profit, a firm must make 5 basic decisions. These are the 5 basic decisions that any company in the world makes to be able to make profit. First one is what goods and services to produce and in what quantity. This is really important to produce the right thing, whether it's product or services, whether it's goods or services. You have to make sure what you're doing is the right one. Means what is exactly the demand of the market, how to produce it, again, the technology that you use, and how efficient you're going to do it, and how effective you are. That will be the second question. The third question is how to organize and compensate managers and workers. That comes under human resource management, how you're actually designing your compensation packages, and how you can keep your employees and your managers happy. Then they are injecting their best to the work, and then at the end of the day, everybody's happy. How to market and price its products. Marketing is one of the most important parts of any businesses. Without knowing how to market, definitely if you have the best production in the world, still you won't be able to make it, simply because you don't know how to market it, what to produce itself, and what to buy from other firms. This is the final question, that like how, basically what will be the right supplier, and what will be the production of itself, a company by itself. So as you can see, these 5 main questions are the questions that any company have to be able to answer to be able to see maximization profit. If you want to have this maximization of profit, you have to be able to answer these properly. So, what are the firm's constraints? The 5 basic decisions of a firm are limited by the constraints it faces. There are 3 constraints a firm faces. You may have difficulty in terms of technology. The main constraints that it comes to the picture is technology. How updated you are, how you're following that, whether you're completely aware of the latest or not information. Information now is very invaluable. It's super important for any business to have the information updated and market by Excel. What market you have the access to. The best markets in the world are the markets that you're going to have constant demand coming to you and guarantee your prosperity. So these 3 main constraints are going to be actually the main challenges that any company is going to face to maximize the profit. Let's talk about the technology constraint. Technology is any method of producing goods or services. How you make your production system or your services going on, the way that you're doing it, the method that you're using, that will be the technology you're using. Technology advances over time. You cannot stick to one type of technology for a long time thinking that is going to work, then you will be definitely out of the market. Using the available technology, the firm can produce more only if it hires more resources, which will increase its cost and limit the profit of additional output. As you can see, if you want to use the available technology, the firm can produce more only if it hires more resources. So the more resources you have with the same technology, you most probably increase your cost as well, and the profitability of additional output will be less because you're using the basic technology. So if you want to have better efficiency in terms of the technology or having a better output, you better use the latest technology. How information can be a constraint? A firm never possesses complete information about either the present or the future. That's the fact. The fact that there are lots of information that you don't have the access to make your job more difficult. So if you want to survive, if you want to be a company and enjoy prosperity, you have to be able to do your best to get the maximum information in your company. It is constrained by limited information about the quality and affairs of its workforce, current and future buying plans of its customers, and the plans of its competitors. If you have information about all of these completely, definitely will excel to the maximum. But the problem is, in reality, you don't really have it. You don't know how much effort is needed or how much currently you're having that effort from your workforce. What is going to be the buying plans, future buying plans of your customers, potential customers, or current customers. and also how your competitors are going to do in future or now currently doing, and you may be just out of the basically business and league simply because you're not doing latest possible, but your competitors can do like way higher than you, and that will be a constant all the time for you. So the cost of copying with limited information limits profit. So all the time, the fact that you have to spend on R&D and you work on this industrial espionage and commercial espionage to get the latest out and being able to cope, that usually definitely costs you a lot of money, and that's why we call it constraint. Let's talk about market constraint. How a market can be constrained. Other firms can sell and the price it can obtain are constrained by customers' willingness to pay and by the prices and marketing affairs of other firms. So as you can see, that is the market. That is the definition of market. If as a company you get the best customer who's willing to pay for your product no matter how much is it, and how other competitors doing, you're having a very good position in comparison with them, that is the best market to deal with. In reality, it's not as easy. You usually have difficulty getting the right customer, making them to buy your product, and also forecasting your competitor's mood, next move. So these next move can be something that is going to be revolutionary, or it can be something evolutionary. At the end of the day, you have to be able to cope with that. That's the market that you're dealing with. So the resources that a firm can buy and the prices it must pay for them are limited by the willingness of people to work and invest in the firm. So you can see these resources are limited. The market is limited. That's why the expenditure the firm incur to overcome these market constraints will limit the profit of the firm can make. So that's why another constraint to the whole profit-making procedure will be the fact that market is something that you really need to discover. You have to spend so much money to be able to see what are the factors that can help you, and that definitely limit your profitability. So let's talk about now technology and economic efficiency and how these two work in the company. First of all, technological efficiency occurs when a firm produces a given level of output by using the least amount of input. So if you have the least amount of input and you get the maximum output out of that, we call this technological efficiency. Okay? We don't really have this page 195, but then there is an example over there about making a TV set, one of which the technological efficiency is happening. There may be different combination of inputs to use for producing a given level of output. If it is impossible to maintain output by decreasing any one input, holding all others input constant, and production is technologically efficient. So you see, the moment that you reach the point that you cannot decrease any more input to get the more output, that's the time that you have to keep that input, and that is the efficiency in technology, or you have technological efficiency, because you already reached the minimum input to get the maximum output out of that. This is how you can check whether you're technologically efficient or not. Let's talk about economic efficiency. Economic efficiency occurs when the firm produces a given level of output at its least cost. So the least amount of money that you're going to spend to get the certain level of output, that will be the economic efficiency. As we remember, technology efficiency was the least amount of input to get a given level of output. It is the least amount of cost to get a given level of output. So this is how you can try to have these two in your mind. So in economic efficiency, the difference between technological and economic efficiency is that technological efficiency is concerned with the quantity of inputs used in production for a given level of output, whereas the economic efficiency is concerned with the cost of input used. So we just explained economic efficiency, and before that, technological efficiency. an economically efficient production process also is technological efficiency. These two are highly interrelated. If you reach the technological efficiency, most probably you have economic efficiency and vice versa. Excuse me. That's why technological efficiency process may not be economically efficient. So the fact that if you're economically efficient, you're most probably technologically efficient means the least amount possible to get a certain output out most probably can be translated to the least amount of input to be able to reach a certain given output. But if you are reaching to a certain technological efficiency, which is the least amount of input to get a certain given output, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're economically efficient. So it's a one-way relationship, by the way, that they are both related. Changes in the input prices influence the value of the inputs, but not the technological process for using them in production. That's why if you have technologically efficient process, that doesn't necessarily mean they are economically efficient, but if you're economically efficient, you're definitely technologically efficient. So let's talk about that information and organization. A firm organizes production by combining and coordinating productive resources using a mixture of two systems. We have either command system or we have like incentive system. Let's talk about that. Command system uses a managerial hierarchy. Commands pass downward through the hierarchy and information. Feedback passes upward. Key systems are relatively rigid and can have many layers of specialized management. This is a very, very typical system, command system. As you can see, top management, lower management, and the feedback comes from lower management to the top management. Incentive system is another system they can use. An incentive system uses market-like mechanism to induce workers to perform in ways that maximize the firm's profit. As you can see here, everything is going to be about market and the market concern mechanism to induce workers perform in ways that maximize the firm's profit. So in this incentive system, we try to use incentives to be able to get the best benefit out of our system. So mixing the system. Most firms use a mixture of command and incentive systems to maximize profit. They use commands when it's easy to monitor performance or when a small deviation from the ideal performance is very costly. And that's why command system is going to work the best in this type of basically system when you really need to monitor the system because you're given, for example, the type X employees or manufacturing systems or operation level, and deviation is going to really cost you a huge profitability or it's going to be very costly. And they use incentives whenever monitoring performance is impossible or too costly to be worth doing it. If you use incentive, you don't really want to monitor because monitoring is not really easy. So definitely you have to really make your employees over-satisfied or delighted to be able to do the job. And they said the only way to do so is incentives, using incentives. So the principal agent problem, what is that? The principal agent problem is the problem of devising compensation rules that induce an agent to act in the best interest of a principal. For example, the stockholders of a firm are the principals and the managers of a firm are their agents. So this is how the principal agent problem is going to be composed. The problem of as you can see, devising compensation rules that induce an agent to act in best interest of a principal. The fact that you, as managers, you do your best to be able to get your stockholders happy is the principal agent problem. If you don't do so, stockholders are not going to be happy. So even you you may lose your managerial position simply because of that. And the fact that you as a manager or as a supervisor doing your best to be able to get your stockholders or shareholders happy is this principal agent problem. So coping with the principal agent problem. Key ways of coping with the principal agent problems are this. First, ownership. If you definitely have the ownership by yourself, you don't really need this responsibility to anybody outside. Incentive pay and long-term pay contracts. We are going to explain them now. Ownership often offered to managers gives the managers an incentive to maximize the firm's profit, which is the goal of the owner, the principals. You see, for making it much easier for managers to do that, what they're supposed to do, for the principals that they are actually the owner, so you give them some shares of the company. So because they feel the sense of that sense of belonging is there, they feel that they are part of the package. Whatever they do, at the end, they will be getting some profit. Why not? Definitely they will do their best. In incentive pay system, incentive pay links managers or workers pay the firm's performance and helps align the managers and workers' interests with those of the owners. So the principals definitely are going to use this incentive pay to be able to give some basically motivation to the agents or the managers to do the job or workers. And long-term contracts is also another way that you can tie the managers or workers' long-term reward, the long-term performance of the firm. These arrangement encourages the agents to work in the best long-term interest of the firm's owners. Again, by giving a long-term relationship or contract to your managers or to your workers, most probably you can guarantee their performance, and as principal or owner, you will be happy as well. So this is how you could take care of them. These are the types of business organizations. The three types of business organization. We have proprietorship, the partnership, and corporation. So what is this proprietorship? The first one. Okay. Proprietorship is a firm with a single owner who has unlimited liabilities or legal responsibilities for all debt incurred by the firm up to an amount equal to the entire wealth of the owner. The proprietor makes the management decisions and receives the firm's profit. Actually, you can see there is a single owner who's in charge of everything. He's liable to everything. The liabilities is about everything. And unlimited liability make that person on the other side responsible for anything, any debt happen to the company, but any profit also is going to go to him. The profits are taxed the same as the owner other income. It can be a basic business, like for example a restaurant, that everything is under 1%, and anything goes wrong is also his responsibility. The next will be partnership. A partnership is a firm with two or more owners who have unlimited liability. Partners must agree on a management structure and how to divide up the profit. And as you know, profits from partnerships are taxed as the personal income of the owner. As you can see, this is how partnership is. It can be basically the relationship that, for example, two or three partners have to have a company together. And as you know, if any managerial structures and profitability is happening, is all related to all of them. And again, anything related to tax is going to concern all of the personal incomes of the owner. So you can see the difference between this one and the previous one. Exactly as the explanation is quite clear. Let's talk about corporation now. A corporation is owned by one or more stockholders with limited liability, which means the owners have legal liabilities only for the initial value of their investment. But as time passes, different stockholders come in, they are investing, so definitely they're going to be part of the whole package. The personal wealth of a stockholder is not at risk if the firm goes bankrupt. So as you can see, a corporation doesn't concern the personal wealth of a stockholder because they're just contributing to the company through a stock. So the profit of corporation is taxed twice. Once as a corporate tax on firm's profit, and then again as an income tax paid by a stockholder receiving the after-tax profit distributed as dividend. So pros and cons of different types of a firm. Definitely all of these different types of the firms, they're going to have their own pros and cons. Each type of business organization has advantages and disadvantages. So we have it list at page 199. Again, there's no things, but definitely some of them are going to have, you see, as the owner, you're going to have more flexibility. The other one less. Profitability is going to be there. Debt responsibility is going to be different, and all those things. So proprietorships and are easy to set up because it's simple. One person, one simple company, and then everything is in charge. Everything is going to be under one person. Managerial decision making is very simple in proprietorship, and profits are taxed only once, not twice, as you could see in corporations. But that decision made by the managers are not subject to review, so nobody else is going to be reviewing that. He is the only owner and he is the only responsible person. If anything goes wrong, he's going to be definitely directly affected. The owner's entire wealth is at stake. If anything goes wrong, the whole wealth may be affected, and the firm dies with the owner. So if the owner is gone, the firm is also gone. The cost of capital and labor can be high. So that's also another thing. When you want to start a business like that, at the beginning, labor and capital high, so you have to start small, and then it will take time to reach a bigger version. But in a corporation or partnership, that will be much easier to do. So if you have a proprietorship system, if there is a one owner and everything is under one, the high chance of everything goes down, then the whole business, the owner is gone, the whole business will go down simply because everything is relying on one person. So, in the second actually pack or partnership, partnerships are easy to set up because different people come in. It's more or less easy, like the previous one, proprietorship, but employs diversified decision-making process because they have different people in and survive the death or withdrawal of a partner. If one partner by any chance is going out, death or withdrawal, still the business can go on because there are other partners involved. Profits are taxed only once. Again, you can see this is the benefit that this type of companies have over the old type of companies. Just once they pay, the corporations, they just pay once the tax, and partnership make attaining a consensus about managerial decision difficult. Sometimes it's going to be a difficult task to do to get everybody's opinion as a consensus on the same thing, and place the owner's entire wealth at risk. Again, you see owner's entire wealth is not at risk. Is very much similar to proprietorship here, and the cost of capital can be high, and the withdrawal of a partner might create a capital shortage. That's the problem of partnership. So as you can see, there are some benefits and so there are some disadvantages to partnership as type of company. We have a corporation now, as you can see, offers perpetual life, limited liability for its owner, so it's not like previous one that definitely concern anything happen, the roles of a stakeholder, partners are going to be affected. Large scale and low cost capital that is readily available. You don't really need a huge chunk of money or stake of money to be able to start the business, because so many people are involved. You can have like some shares and that's it. It's still being part of the system. Professional management is needed because you're dealing with so many people and you need professional managers to be hired to run the show. Lower cost from long-term labor contracts, because we will have these long-term contracts, we will have lower costs, definitely, which is good. But the corporation management structure may lead to slower and expensive decision making, because you need to make it hierarchical to be able to have these commands, chain of command. So you may end up hiring so many people, and also it's going to be a bureaucratic situation because so many people involved in decision making. It's expensive and it's slow. Profit is taxed twice. That is another problem of corporations. As corporate profit, you may pay tax, and also as shareholders' profit for your dividend, you have to pay tax. So far you saw the three different types and the pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages. So now let's talk about the related importance of different types of firms. Kind of all of the important issues about any of them. There are a greater number of proprietorships than other form of businesses. So you can see the people that they run their own show alone, the owners that they have their own business as just one partner, which resemble and which represent proprietorship. Is the highest number of business runs, and both corporations account for the majority of revenue received by businesses. Because corporations have so many people in, a huge investment in, definitely they make the maximum, by the way that they are not the maximum numbers, but they make the maximum profitability. So now you can see in the picture, we have proprietorships. So these proprietorships, they are in purple color, partnership in red, and they have green incorporations. Number of firms, as you can see, significantly, almost 70 over corporations, companies in the world are proprietorships in purple. Around 10% or less, definitely less, are partnership, and in terms of numbers, around 20% is corporation. But when it comes to total revenue, maybe less than 10% is proprietorship, again less than 10% is partnership, and more than 80 over percent, almost 90% is actually corporate. So the first figure shows the frequency of each type of business organization, and second one shows the dominant type of business organization for various industries. As you can see, agriculture and forestry and fishing, the number of proprietorship and corporations are almost the same, partners less. In services, you can see corporations are significantly higher. In construction, is even more higher. Retail trade goes higher. When it comes to mining, partners go number higher, but then proprietorship is still lower. And corporations are also high. Transport and public utilities, finance, insurance, and real estate, and wholesale trade, and at the end, manufacturing. As you can see, when it comes to manufacturing, the proprietorship is almost the least possible. Corporations are the maximum possible, and partners are also less than usual. So market and the economic competitive environment. Let's talk about how economists identify 4 market types. These are the 4 different types of market in the world. The first one is perfect competition. Then you have maximum competition going on. You have monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and monopoly. So as you can see, these are the 4 types of market, and economists usually identify the market in these 4 different categories. Now we're going to go in detail and find out what do we mean by perfect competition, monopolistic, oligopoly, and monopoly. The first is perfect competition. What's going on in perfect competition? Perfect competition is a market structured with many firms. There are a lot of firms going actually activated in this type of market. Each sells an identical product. All of them are actually involved in certain type of products, identical products. Many buyers, lots of buyers also there. No restriction on entry or of new firms to the industry. As you can see, everybody can go in. But for being able to survive, you have to have a very good value and competitive advantage. Those firms and buyers are all well informed of the prices and products of all firms in the industry. So as you can see, the information is also available. That is the best type of market when all of the sellers and competitors and manufacturers are going to get the same actual chance, and there is no restriction going on, and information is also available. The next type of market is monopolistic, which is exactly completely opposite of the first one. In this type of market, many firms are existing. Each firm produces similar but slightly different products called product differentiation, and each firm possesses an element of market power. You see, whoever is there, they have definitely market power. And no restriction on entry of new firms to the industry. There is no, again, restriction on entry of new firms to the industry. As you can see, not every firm is producing an identical product. You're more or less producing the same product, but you are differentiated in same different story. That makes you have your own competitive advantage. Oligopoly is a market structure in which a small number of firms compete. The firm might produce almost identical product or differentiated product. Barriers to entry limit into the market. So monopoly, as I explained for you, so you see, as you can see, we have perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, monopoly. Monopoly actually is the main one, which is we could say exactly opposite side of the complete competition. Monopolistic competition is not exactly the opposite side of the complete competition. This is the one that actually is the exact opposite side. One firm just produces not a lot of firms. One firm produces the entire output of the industry. There are no close substitutes for the product, and there are barriers to entry that protect the firm from competition by entry firms. If you look at a market like software market and company called, for example, Microsoft, we can kind of understand monopoly market. In that market, it is one strong company which is Microsoft, producing most of the software, and no close substitutes for that. And it's also very, very difficult for any other company to come in because the competition, at least the main competitor, which is Microsoft, is so strong and rich that other small companies, they won't be able to survive competing with these companies. So that make it much easier for Microsoft to do what they're doing. So measures of concentration. If you want to look at the market and the competitive environment, and you want to see how you can measure the concentration, two measures of market concentrations in common use are these two. The first one is the 4-firm concentration ratio, and the other one is the Hirschman index, HHI. So Herfindahl and Hirschman index is going to be second one. So now we're going to explain both. The 4-firm concentration ratio is the percentage of the total industry sales accounted for by the 4 largest firms in the industry. That is the first actually method. The second one, which is the Herfindahl-Hirschman index, is the sum of the squared market shares of the 50 largest firms in the industry. So the larger the measures of market concentration, the less competition that exists in the industry. If you have the larger actually measure on concentration of certain companies, well, definitely you have less companies working on contributing to this industry. So that's why you will end up having definitely less competition going on. So concentration measures for the U.S. economy, specifically what are those? The U.S. Justice Department uses the HHI to classify a market. A market with an HHI of less than 1,000 is regarded as a highly competitive. A market with an HHI between 1,000 and 1,800 is regarded as moderately competitive, and a market with an HHI greater than 1,800 is uncompetitive. So if you look at the US market, this is how they categorize the concentration measures, and this is how the categories and standards are. Look at here. Figure 9.2 shows the 4 firms concentrated ratio for various industries in the United States. So look at here, 4-firm concentration ratio. Chewing gum, as you can see, is almost 100. Household laundry equipment is less, and as it comes down, light bulb, you have a breakfast cereal, you have motor vehicles, macaroni and spaghetti, chocolate products, pet food, cookies and crackers, computers, soft drinks, pharmaceuticals, newspapers, ice cream, notes, men's and boys' clothing, women's clothing, concrete blocks and bricks, and commercial printing. So from top to down, you can see difference actually 4-firm concentration ratio for various industries in the United States. Well, chewing gum is the highest, as you can see, almost 100. While it comes to commercial printing, is very similar to 0. So it shows that the concentration is significantly different when it comes to different industries. If you look at the Herfindahl and Hirschman index also, you will have different so you see for commercial pricing is 22, 30, 61, and it goes up. And if you look at the previous thing, we said less than 1,000 is highly competitive. So you can see those are the less than 1,000, less very competitive. More than between 1,000 to 1,100 very moderately competitive. More than that, not competitive. So here you can see which one is highly competitive, which one not really, and so on. So limitation of concentration measures. There are some definitely limitation for concentration measures. Concentration measures alone are not sufficient to identify the market structure of a given industry. Concentration ratios are based on national market. For some goods, the relevant market is local. For some goods, the relevant market is the world. So you really need to know which, basically, for example, as you can see from newspaper, the relevant market is a local market. Or for the certain industries like automobile, as you can see, the relevant market is the world. So, concentration ratio convey no information about extent of barriers to entry. As another limitation of the concentration ratio. For some industries, few firms may be currently operating in the market, but competition might be fierce. With firms regularly entering an existing industry, even potential entry might be enough to maintain competition in certain industries. So again, concentration ratio is not going to be a complete ratio to help us finalize everything. So you can never table 9.6 that we don't have it, summarize the range, and we don't really have it. Look at here, in figure 9.3, market structure in the US economy. You see what is happening. So, we have three different years, 1939, 1958, 1980. We have monopoly, dominant firm, oligopoly, and competition. And as you can see, monopoly is the purple one. 1939 was the highest in the history in US. And then, as you can see, during when we have the dominant firm, as well as oligopoly and competition. Competition was the least during 1939, then it was increased in 1958, and in 1980s is actually the maximum. If you have that information now, you can see then this competition is more. So it shows the distribution of market structure in the United States economy. The economy is mainly competitive, usually no matter it's 1939, 1958, and 1980. You see in all of these years, competition is the main part, but the amount actually has been changed during the years. As time passed, the competition has been increased. So by the way, that economy is mainly competitive, but this competitiveness has been increased during years. So let's talk about market coordination. Market and firms both coordinate production. So in chapter 3, we kind of explain how demand and supply coordinate the plans of buyers and sellers. We said if there is no demand, there is no supply. Usually supply and demand are going to work together to be able to create the market. Outsourcing buying parts or products from other firms is an example of market coordination of production. But firms coordinate more production than do market. Why? The simple reason is because firms are working under the whole constitution, and now we're going to explain why the firms are going to coordinate more. Firms coordinate production when they can do so more efficiently than a market. 4 key reasons might make firms more efficient, and firms can achieve this type of things during this basic collaboration coordination we were talking about. Lower transaction costs, economies of scale that we explained before, economies of scope, economies of team production. These are the basic reasons why firms coordinate productions while the market doesn't do so. Transaction costs are the costs arising from finding someone with whom to do business, reaching agreement on the price and other aspects of the exchange, and ensuring that the terms of the agreements are fulfilled. We call this type of cost transaction cost. Economies of scale occurs when the cost of producing the unit of a good falls and food rate increase. We talk about this as you produce more, the price of each item is going to go decrease. That we call the economic scale, and you should do it to the level that is still happening. If you reach to a point that you produce more but your cost increases, that is this economic scale that we actually have explained before. Economic scopes arise when a firm can use a specialized inputs to produce a range of different goods at a lower cost than otherwise. Firm can engage in team production in which the individual specializes in mutual supporting tasks. Sometimes you can use this type of thing to be able to use your employees that they have multitask attribute to be able to produce the job. As you can see, when a firm can use a specialized input to produce a range of different goods, as then a lower cost can be incurred to the company. So that was more or less about chapter our 8th session or chapter 7. We keep covering all of these chapters up to the end, and one more time I'm going to announce this fact that today is the due date for assignment submission. I expected all of the groups to submit their work by today. I have received some, but some still are remaining. Make sure after the class by today, as far as I'm receiving it by today, you're going to be fine. This is a mutual actually win-win situation for both. As you get your marks on time, and I will be able to organize everything by the end of the semester. If you have any questions, please ask now. So Arif Arya said our group final assignment has just been sent to your Gmail. Okay, but our group leader, Mr. Asif Aizadeh, could you please check your email and advise if you receive it? You will definitely receive an acknowledgement note from me. Don't worry, Mr. Arif Arya. And another thing, you need to make sure that you have sent it to my Gmail, not to my Yahoo. To explain, all of our correspondence is going to happen through our Gmail. Yes, Mr. Jahadullah, as far as you're doing it by today, it's fine. 5 minutes, a few minutes is fine, no problem. Okay, any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? I sent in your Gmail. Okay, if it's sent to my Gmail, you should not be worried. I definitely have received it. I will send you the message once I check it, and you will receive a noted message. Is there any other questions? Thank you to you as well. Okay, if there is no other questions, let's call it a day. Have a great night. See you next week. Bye to all of you. Okay, Mr. Najullah is saying he has a question. Yes, what is the question, Mr. Najullah? Mr. Najibullah, what is the question? You can please write it down over there. Okay. Sending in file. Okay. Okay. So, I'm still waiting. Oh, what do you mean by so why don't you, Mr. Najib, you just you do your best to be able to do it before by the end of this week. So I will look at your work and I will decide about how I go with that. But you just make sure as soon as possible you're doing it. The sooner the better. Okay, no problem. Okay? Any other question, guys? Okay. That's all right, Mr. Najibullah. Don't worry. Okay. I can see there's no question. Yeah, don't worry. Miss Nadia, I will send you the confirmation. Don't worry at all. Thanks to all of you for attending the class. I hope that you enjoyed it. So see you all by next week. Have a great night.